big questions I get whenever I talk to someone about this is, well, what do I do if I'm not working on my business? There's plenty to do. There's a lot of things you're not doing right now, like back end numbers, job costing, networking on a high level. Couldn't you start another branch in a different city? I think these are things that we should be thinking about instead of the day to day operations. If you get yourself out of the day to day operations in a home service business, you're a good leader. If you keep yourself out of the home service business day to day operations, you're a great leader. What's going on, good people? Welcome back to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. Here at it again. Wanted to give you guys some insights on getting into 2026, different things that you're going to need to know to help scale your business and, more importantly, create the impact that we both know you're capable of creating. So in today's episode, I'm going to give you some insights on my pivot. So if you didn't catch the last episode, it didn't work out. There was an opportunity that presented itself to me to sell my painting business. And I decided, hey, it's not the right time. It was a mutual decision just because of, again, where we were in terms of the numbers, and it didn't align with what they needed it to be. But I look at everything as a blessing in disguise. It was a learning experience. I'm super grateful. And it actually revitalized me a little bit because, man, I don't know about you, but I love my business. I love the people. I love what I created. And the thought of letting that go is kind of wild. So it definitely revitalized me. It gave me a new energy, but I'm approaching the business in a different way. I am almost at a point where I'm completely hands off. I trained Julio, my superstar project manager, on sales, and he's going to be doing more follow-ups and estimating, kind of nurturing him for that GM role. And my goal in the business is to be completely removed. I want to get to a point where I don't really know what's going on and I'm just trusting that it's getting done right. So for me, I'm super excited about this new venture. And I want to kind of help you understand how to get to this point because I've had a lot of new insights from experiencing a potential sale. And I still think it's valuable to get myself even more independent of the business. And I think even though I was doing pretty good, there were some things I was still responsible for during that questioning period that I had to tell the potential buyers that I was responsible for, like overseeing all the pricing before it gets sent out, payroll, really just if the schedule falls, closing on the spot, right? Because remember, I have that estimator model. We don't have a salesperson. So if there's no jobs and that's not working out, hey, I might need to go out there and fill up the schedule. So, those are some things that I have created through being, just kind of hands off, but also having to dive back in and fill in those gaps is going to be super important for the future. So where are you in your business right now? That's the big question you should be asking yourself is, if someone were to buy my business, how many things would I have to tell them that I do? And this is super unnatural. I just want you to be 100% aware of the fact that it is unnatural to kind of just be away from your business. And I want you to know, but that's what it is. That's how it has to be. And through that pursuit, you actually create something that's pretty awesome, right? You create something that has individuals doing the things, so you can focus on the growth. A lot of the big questions I get whenever I talk to someone about this is, well, what do I do if I'm not working on my business? There's plenty to do. There's a lot of things you're not doing right now, like back end numbers, job costing, networking on a high level. Couldn't you start another branch in a different city? I think these are things that we should be thinking about instead of the day to day operations. If you get yourself out of the day to day operations in a home service business, you're a good leader. If you keep yourself out of the home service business day to day operations, you're a great leader because it does take a lot of trust. You're working inside of people's homes. There's no shop. You can't, peek through the blinds behind your office and see if the workers are working in the warehouse, right? So there's a lot there that requires nurturing people, building relationships, making sure you're putting the right people in the right places. So this is a big deal. And to get to a point where you can sell your business, you essentially want to make it to where it's turnkey. It's like somebody, you just hand someone a key and they turn the engine on. I'd say I would score myself an 87%, and that's because I didn't have the intent really to sell my business up until the last few months. So now I know where my holes were and I got to fill those holes. I can't just sit back and say, oh, well, I won't do this again. No, every business owner should build their business so it is sellable. I could have sold it. It just wasn't for what I wanted for it. And you have to be willing to, get to a position where you have that control and you can say no. It wasn't a need, it was a want. It was like, you know what? If this works out, I can see the benefits. If it doesn't work out, then that's okay too. So, as a business owner, you need to be building this. And I'll tell you right now, the key component to building and scaling a business is the people. There's nothing more and nothing less. You need individuals that are bought in, not to just the business, but early on bought into you. What type of leader are you becoming? Are you the type of leader that really goes to bat for people? Now, listen, I'm not going to sit here and rattle off all the things that I have done for the people that work for me. And I have went to bat. I have done things financially for people. I've done things over and above what's expected of me. The interesting part about this is that I have done these things for people that are no longer working for me. Okay. And I look for those opportunities. I don't look at it like, oh, I helped someone who left. Here's an example. I'm just going to give you an example. I don't really like, because this is not why I'm doing this, but I just want to showcase to you, an area that maybe you're lacking in. Okay. So I had a guy work for me and I really liked him and I saw potential on him. I mean, I guarantee you, if you go back enough in this podcast, there was a time where I said, oh, this guy could be the guy, that runs one of my crews. So I was all in on him. Right. I liked his attitude. I liked his demeanor. I could see he had some hard work in him. He was a little more trustworthy than some of the other guys, and he was down on his luck and he needed a car. And I went and got some cash, handed him an envelope full of cash, and said, here, bro, I want you to go get a car. And, he was super thankful. And he had only been working with me for a few months. But I was like, man, I have a feeling about him and I'm going to help him. I'm going to give him that leg up because it's hard, man. When you're at the bottom, to accumulate enough to put a down payment on a car, it's difficult. So I did it, but I did it with love. I did it with no expectations. And that's the most important thing because of course, do I want him to be bought into the company more? Yeah. Like is there I'm going to say it, selfish pursuit in a sense? Yeah, I want him to be like, "Dang, like this company's got my back." Did he have to do that? No, he could have just took the money and said goodbye, which he kind of did. It actually worked out that way and kind of just faded out after the next 3 weeks. And didn't work out and we winded up firing him. And you think, man, like I looked out for you. Why did you do that? And he was just one of those people that, didn't see an opportunity. What I tried to create was a good environment. I wanted to double down on him, make sure he had good transportation and really sew into him so he could sew into the business. That's the relationship. It is what it is. But he's not, I could have looked at that and said, oh, well, I'm not doing that for anyone anymore. Well, guess what? I kept doing it. And you know what? I believe in that because I truly do want to help people. I'm not just here to make money. I want to sew into people. I want you to be able to buy a house. I want you to be able to advance financially. I definitely want you to be able to at least take care of your bills, right? If you're coming to work for me, it's a reflection on me. I want to make sure you're good. And I always do that. You can ask my team. I always try to find a way to make sure I'm looking out for people. And every now and again, you get somebody that sees that, and maybe they've been through a bunch of other opportunities where they never had anyone step in and reach down and say thank you, but more importantly, look out for them. And every now and again, you get somebody who says, this is exactly what I needed. And they become a superstar in your business. They become an absolute asset. And you start to say, wow, this person is going above and beyond. This person's looking out. This person has my back when I'm not here. I trust this person to operate just like I would with my customers, just like I would with the team. And you never know who that person's going to be. But when you see it, you need to double down on it because they don't come often. Okay. I've probably been through, I think now in 10 years, I've probably been through at least 100 painters in my painting business. Okay. And only one of them has stood out, who is now my GM potential, Julio, who's now taking over all of the project. He's doing amazing with the customers, amazing with the team. He's going above and beyond. He's up late at night, messaging the team. He's ordering the paint. He's preparing the jobs. He's calling the customers. Now he's following up with proposals. And he's my right hand. He's a GM. He's the person that's going to be taking over so I can focus on growth, so I can be removed from the company. And who knows what other rewards are going to come with that for him. But he doesn't expect them. He just knows, if I work hard, I'm going to be rewarded. Do you have that? Do you have that idea flowing through the minds of your team? Do they feel like if they work hard above what they're asked to do, that there's opportunity for them to grow? See, I come from an environment where there wasn't an opportunity to grow. So I know what that feels like. So when I created my business, I'm like, dude, I have to make an opportunity for people to grow. I have to give them more money, more responsibility. Usually they go hand in hand. And if I don't, resentment. That's it. It's resentment. Because at the end of the day, people have potential, right? We're just people. I'm just a person. Who says that he can't start his own painting business and scale it? Okay. But I want that energy in my business so we both can benefit. But if I don't harness and help nurture and help bring that energy to life and that potential to life in my own business, then he'll just find another place to do it. Because that's how it works. Because you can't harness energy very long and suppress energy. You can't. It finds its way out, right? It's like an explosion, right? And eventually he'll quit. And I have lost a few people because of my inability to create growth opportunity. Whether I was scared, I didn't want to spend the money, or I personally just didn't believe that they were that person. You look at like NFL sports teams, right? You have individuals that are on a team. Here's a good example. I was a longtime Colts fan. My whole life growing up, I love the Colts. I love Peyton Manning, Tony Dungy, Marvin Harrison. I don't know if you remember, but that was like a power team. I loved it when I was a kid. I grew up near Philadelphia. Everyone was Eagles fans, but I was a Colts fan. The reason I'm telling you this is because they have a quarterback. His name's Daniel Jones right now. And it's interesting just to see how this individual was on the Giants for maybe 5-6 years, did nothing with the Giants, and is playing out of his mind with the Colts. And you just got to kind of understand that, like, that environment over there with the Giants didn't rally around his talents, or didn't bring enough talent in to nurture his natural abilities to help him become an all-star, right? And it just so happened that when he switched teams, they're building the team around him, which makes him even better for the organization. So there's a lot of decisions you've got to make. Do you have that person? Do you have that individual that you can build the team and the system around? Do you still hold on to things that you shouldn't hold on to? Are you still trying to do more than what you need to out of fear? Are you afraid to give the raise? Are you afraid to pay the money? Do you not see the future with this individual? You earned it. You built the business. You just need someone to help you run it. You don't have to build it and run it. Remember, Amazon, biggest company in the world. Okay, Jeff Bezos is on the yacht. He ain't in the board meetings anymore. Okay, he's not having meetings anymore. He's not in the hiring. He's not in the hiring meeting. Right. He's not thinking about those things anymore. He built it. He put people in places where they get rewarded for growing the business, and he's out. Okay, we only get one life. So what your job is to help people get from point A to point B so you can get from point A to point B. And everyone's point A to point B changes over time, and it's your job to keep eyes on that. So nurture your people, pay attention, right? And create an environment where growth can be really, in my opinion, realized through the potential and natural born creativity of your people. I hope you got something out of this. It's all love. I want to share with you, if you don't already know, the 31 Days of Value book is on Amazon. So if you followed along, and I have it right here. Hold on, I'm going to go get it real quick. Should have had it ready. 31 Days of Value. I actually got a new cover. So it doesn't look like this anymore. If you got an OG copy of this, maybe it'll be worth something someday, for being an early grabber of the book. But I'm really proud of this book, man. If you followed along in the podcast, I want to thank you for doing that challenge with me. That was such an amazing time period of focus and reflection. But this book, man, it's a good book. I put my heart into it. It has a lot of insights. It's got a lot of tips and tools for you to use. A lot of these leadership principles, that story I just told about one of my guys is in there, really helping you understand like how I built what I built. So if you're interested in that, it's on Amazon. I'm having trouble with getting the free ones out of me being way too busy to figure out the system to make that happen, just being honest. So if you really want to jump on it, Amazon's got it. I think you can download it on Kindle for free or like $1. I don't know. But anyway, I'd appreciate it if you check it out. And then I love your feedback. The thing that sucks about a book is that you don't get feedback fast. I'm a big feedback guy. I love to know if what I'm doing is landing, if it's hitting. It's like if I put out a tweet, I can tell instantly if it was a good one, but with books, this is new to me because it's my only book. You don't really hear from anyone because it takes them too long to read it, and they forget or they think that you don't care to hear their feedback. But I would love to hear your feedback about this book. It does it suck or did it help you? I want to know. So anyway, thank you. God bless you, your team, your family, and your journey. I hope that this upcoming year is your year. I hope it's the one that helps you turn the corner. And if you're a painting contractor, don't forget, Liftoff 2026 is January 7th and 8th. It's online on Zoom. I got a bunch of speakers, and I need you to come and be a part of that event. That's usually the best way to kick it off if you're a painting contractor. So thank you, and we'll catch you on the next one.